All right, let's now shift our attention to India, where India's top court has said that the Chief Justice of India is the master of the roster and has the authority to allocate cases at his pleasure. Now, the Supreme Court was hearing a plea that has been filed by the former Union Law Minister Shanti Bhushan, asking for a collegium of the top court judges that can collectively allocate cases in the apex court rather than leave the entire power in the hands of the Chief Justice. So this is a bit of a breaking information that is coming in, where the Supreme Court has ruled that the Chief Justice of India is the master of the roster and will allocate cases as he prefers. Now this, of course, was in response to a plea that had been filed by the former Law Minister of India, Shanti Bhushan, asking for a collegium of top court judges that can collectively allocate cases in the apex court rather than leaving the entire process to the discretion of the Chief Justice alone. Now, this of course, is a big breaking development. Remember, there was this unprecedented press conference that had been called by the top 4 judges of the Supreme Court, where they had come out stating that there were several issues that they wanted to put forth into the public domain. And one of the key concerns that they had, of course, raised was this one about the Chief Justice of India being the sole individual person who could, in fact, allocate cases at his pleasure. And for more on this, we are joined in by our political affairs editor, Kartikeya Sharma. Good morning to you, Kartikeya. This is an interesting ruling, observation that's been made by the Supreme Court, where they've said that it is the Chief Justice who is the master of the roster, and that is how it will stay.
Absolutely, because there are 3 things here. If you remember, the press conference done by 4 judges, which was headed by Mr. Chalmeshwar, who is now retired, was about misuse of power by the Supreme Court Chief Justice of India, Deepak Misra, and the charge was that he is moving certain cases and not respecting the seniority, which means important cases were going to the junior judges. And they said since he is misusing his power as master of the roster, it is impinging on the functioning and the independence of the judiciary. Now, saying that, I would say it created, it opened a Pandora's box. Saleh, you would remember in that 45 minutes of press conference, the whole executive went mum, legislature went mum, and the message was that there is something wrong in the judiciary.
Right.
So today what has happened is that the court has said the CJI, which is Chief Justice of India, is the master of the roster. He decides which case will go to which judge, and this power rests with him. Because if this power does not rest with him, then it will create another problem, which means that 5 judges will decide which case will go to which judge. So I would say that Justice Chalmeshwar, by speaking on this issue very, very publicly, created an avenue whereby a lot of things could have gone wrong, but other people believe, other experts believe in India, that, well, he addressed the issue publicly and he was trying to restore primacy of transparency in judicial functioning. Right. So argument can cut both ways, but I would say that the matter now has come to rest, and which is very, very fundamentally important thing.
Right, and also, Kartikeya, just to dwell on it a bit further, this was a plea that was filed by Shanti Bhushan. Do you think that this is the end of the matter, or will we see further sort of, comments that will be passed, further pleas being filed in the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to revisit the master of the roster, which has now become such a contentious issue?
I think the matter rests. I think no one is going to take up this matter, not even the executive. Judiciary is one institution which even executive does not want to interfere with, because we have to understand, you remove faith from judiciary, the whole process of governance will come to a stall. In democracy, like executive is important, legislature is important, but judiciary mediates. Now you say that the mediation is dishonest, then you affect the whole democratic process. So I think the matter must rest.
All right, we will have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Kartikeya Sharma, for joining us and getting us that interesting perspective. It now remains to be seen as to how this case will be taken forward, because remember, this was a plea that was filed by Shanti Bhushan on the back of that very public and an unprecedented press conference that was held by the 4 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court, where they had challenged that why is it that the allocation of cases is done only by the Chief Justice of India. They wanted a sort of a collegium system for the cases to be allocated, but now the Supreme Court has ruled that that is not happening, and the Chief Justice of India will continue to be the master of roster.